Matt Kermack. I know the name. Matt Kermack. Matt Kermack. Is in your guys' class? He is? No, like class of 27. Oh, he's already. I have a class with him. And he's your age, and he made about the football game. It has like 700,000 Twitter views. It was about the Tonic Club. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw, wait, yeah. No, I actually saw his tweet.
How was it saying?
It was something like, I've seen football for this long and this celebration this many times, and I've never seen
Yes,
it.
this 760,000.
Crazy. If we score, I need one of them to do it now. My mom's like, what does buckling the seatbelt mean? I know, I don't think that's what it is.
All right, you two ready?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait, no. What are we talking about?
Alright, you want to talk main focal point, Patty and Bushy? Do you think that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I would say that
Wait, they have names on their jerseys.
some of them do. Yeah. So, Patty and Dishy making their season debuts tonight, and then you can also bring up that Devin, I wouldn't say that he left the team, I would say he's out indefinitely with an injury, because that's also true.
Yeah, I'll say that, and then we'll talk about how like we got a few people stepping in. Like, I guess the only people who are making their season debuts are Dishy and Adams.
Yeah,
Wallace is back in the lineup.
Yep.
Well, that one we don't even need to bring that up.
No, he's there.
We don't have to talk for that much. It just has to be like a minute and we'll be good.
Yeah. Do we need to recap last weekend at all?
I would make it just like a brief, did not go well in North Carolina.
Yeah, it was rough to say the least. Played NC State pretty tough. Lost 4-1. Score probably doesn't tell the whole picture there.
Yeah, no, they actually did play okay.
And then
They played horrible.
unfortunately, followed that up with a shutout loss against UNC Wilmington. All right, okay, we got it. We're just gonna free throw it. Do you want to turn pregame on so it doesn't look like we're walking in? Yeah.
Hey there, Terps fans. Thank you guys for tuning in for our pregame show here before the Maryland-Delaware game on this fine Saturday night. My name is Bailey Unchester. I'm joined with my good friend here, Owen Korzak. Owen, how you doing tonight?
Good. Hopefully the Maryland hockey team can make my heart feel a little bit better after a heartbreaking Maryland football loss. In case you were not watching that, Maryland was up 20-0 about halfway through the third quarter, and they lost. So, but you know, we're at the Garden's Ice House. They say magic happens at the Garden.
That's exactly what they
and
say.
maybe the magic tonight will be repairing my broken heart.
Yes, I agree with that. Oh, and if you guys are still looking for a Terps W tonight, don't worry. We have a late night matchup for you here. Maryland Terrapins and the Delaware Blue Hens faced off 3 times last season. All 3 of those games were close and always very gusty showdowns. And we're going to have another crazy one for you tonight. Maryland came off a disappointing weekend last weekend in North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. Maryland, they played NC State tough. They lost 4-1. I'm not too sure the score sheet tells the whole picture that they played very tough against an upper division team. The following game, not the best for the Terps. They lost 4-0 to UNC Wilmington. It was the first time they've been shut out this year, which is unfortunate, but we're back at home. Maybe rewrite the story of the season.
Yeah, I think maybe being back at the Garden's Ice House where the magic happens is what the Terps may need tonight, and we've got some fun stories happening. On the ice, we have 2 Terps making their season debut, both veterans. Nathaniel Dishner slotting into that third line forward, and Patrick Adams, you know him, you love him, as our main goaltender from last year, a big part of this Terps squad, getting his first start of the season here, coming back with an injury. So we're going to see how both of them do.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them definitely have a chip on their shoulder. This is a much improved team from last year. Neither player was necessarily a lock to make the team, so both of them have a lot to play for tonight, a lot to show. And we're talking about Nathaniel Dishner slotting in. He'll be the third-line center tonight. A developing story, our typical first-line center, Devin Oliver, he started as the first-line center for the opening weekend when Maryland swept Towson and then also beat UVA. He is out indefinitely with I believe a hand injury. I'll have to fact check that.
with my good pal Andy Parr when we get on the call. But that is a big developing story, which explains why Dishner's in the lineup. Dishner, a lot to play for, fan favorite, team favorite. Should be a good one tonight.
Yeah, the lines are going to look a little different, and you guys are just going to have to keep an eye out on that when our broadcast begins. We have puck drop in just under 3-4 minutes or so, so make sure you guys stay tuned, and Owen and Andy are going to be back with you for that main call. Thanks for watching, Terps fans.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Maryland Hockey Network. I'm Andy Parr, joined by Owen Korzak and Bailey Unchester here from the mecca of college sports, the Gardens Ice House, for tonight's matchup between the Terps and the visiting Delaware Blue Hens. Owen, we saw a very frustrating game on the football field for the Terps today, so how do you think they'll be able to turn it around on the ice tonight?
Yeah, frustrating is an understatement, Andy. I think Maryland, what they have to do is they have to get back to how they played that opening weekend. They were constantly in their offensive zone. It was, really magical how much puck possession they had. And this will be another tough matchup. Obviously, NC State was the marquee tough matchup, but UNC Wilmington, kind of an unacceptable game for this team.
Yeah, Wilmington, they definitely came out slow in that one, and it ultimately led to a 4-0 shutout loss. NC State, they gave M1 opponent a good fight. But now they've got a divisional game against Delaware, and this opening faceoff is won by the Blue Hens. Josh Flom will play it ahead for Delaware, but it's taken away by Colin Doherty. Doherty the other way for Maryland.
Yeah, and Maryland going with a little bit of a different approach to start this game. They run out their top kind of scoring line, and it's filled with youth. Harnan, obviously a sophomore winger, but then you got two freshmen in Grant Warner and Doherty out there.
Doherty with a big shot block right there against Josh Flom. And welcome back to the cage, Patty Adams. Maryland's number 30 in black, started the majority of the games last season. Tonight he's getting his first action as the starting goaltender, and Patty's just a great guy. We are so excited to have him back in goal. He made a lot of great saves last season, and even though he's serving as the number 3 this year, he's still got a lot of talent.
Absolutely, and I think an improved defense group. You got Teske and Petter as that top pairing. Teske tied for the team leading goals as a defenseman, and then obviously Eli Petter's been more than serviceable as that top line right-handed defenseman.
Yeah, Eli Petter with 2 very good games last week in North Carolina. Despite a frustrating weekend for the Terps, he was definitely a bright spot for that team. Out of the defensive zone, Teske tries to play it ahead for Doherty, but it's intercepted by Brian Kramer. Now on the other side, this is Sager for the Blue Hens who dumps it in, but Teske will be the first one there. Trying to use the boards for Doherty. Doherty's got it, waiting for a passing lane to open up. He misses it, and Josh Flom has it at the point for the Blue Hens. He sends it low to Stam. Stam checked off the puck by Teske, and now Grant Warner will take it for the Terps. Grant Warner cruising through neutral, waiting for his options to open up. Gets good defense there from Josh Flom, but Patrick Harnon's on the puck for the Terps. Harnan to the point. This is Petter. Petter loses that one to Engelman, and look out here, Joey Engelman. He's got a 2-on-1 with Stam. Engelman with a shot, glove save, Patty Adams. Welcome back to the cage. Only 90 seconds into this one. Adams already with a snappy glove save.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Brian Teske on that play. Obviously when you're as big as he is, skating probably a little bit easier, especially catching up to somebody tiny. Not tiny, but smaller. To him, anyone's tiny.
Everybody's just a little bit smaller than Brian Teske, it feels like. Him and Blake Warner, 2 towering people on this Maryland lineup.
That was a really good play by Teske. Kind of really saved a breakaway.
Romps with a pass across to Duchesne there. He had on his backhand, looking for a little one-time opportunity in that 2-on-1. Now this is Pilkington with it again in neutral. He will dump. Behind the net for the Blue Hens, this will be number 2, C.J. Mielsarek. Mielsarek, one of the more veteran players on this Delaware roster, played in all 3 games against the Terps last season for the Blue Hens. Big hit there by Tommy Pilkington, but the Blue Hens maintain possession.
It's another big guy on the ice right now. He's one tall guy.
Yeah, a lot of size just in general with this Maryland lineup this year. Andrew Wallace in his own defensive end loses it to Polchapek, but squirts out to the point, and Travis Duchesne will chase C.J. Mielsarek. Mielsarek retreats and sends it ahead for Aiden Starr from our hometown of Fairfax, Virginia. How fun is that, Owen?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a couple of Fairfax connections. A player, number 15 for the Blue Hens, Legato. There's a road in Fairfax called Legato Road, so thought that was also interesting.
Yep, some nice little callbacks to our hometown in Northern Virginia. And Nathaniel Dishner in his first shift of the night. First game of the season for number 21 in black. Plays that one ahead for Caleb Craven. Craven in the offensive corner. Tries to get it back out to Dishner, but the Blue Hens are able to clear. Coming in for Delaware, this is Owen Cunningham. Cunningham defended well there by Sean Amon. Amon will use the boards to play it for his defensive partner, Craven. Caleb Craven back to Amon. Amon starting a breakout now, misses on that pass, and this could be icing if the puck keeps its pace, and it will be. Back to the defensive zone.
Schreibman, typically on that opening line, but he's on the third line tonight. Like we said, a few injuries for the Terps. a lot going on, but yeah, he'll be on the third line.
Yep, and now over to Bailey Unchester for tonight's keys to the game and a little recap at Maryland versus Delaware from last season.
Yeah, if I had to pick who Maryland's biggest rival is currently, I would have to say the Delaware Blue Hens. As Andy mentioned before, we faced Delaware 3 times last season, and all 3 of those games were tight and very close. Both Maryland and Delaware last season sort of towards that bottom of our division of the ACHA, so everyone was sort of playing for just a win in general when both teams didn't really have a lot under their belt. I'm seeing pretty close play as of right now. I mean, we've only had less than 5 minutes, but no one's really kind of stood out to me yet at the moment, so don't be surprised if we see another close, chippy game. I know that these two teams aren't exactly the bestest of friends either, so don't be surprised, as I was saying, if we get a little more excitement than just some clean hockey as we go on throughout.
Yes, absolutely. There is no love lost between these two squads as Delaware ices the puck. And don't be fooled at home. That number 12 tonight is being worn by Chase Wilson, not Luke Mohan. Chase forgot his jersey, and Luke brought it as a healthy scratch. So Chase still able to get into the lineup.
Yeah, Chase with a good face-off win there, too. And Maryland finally getting some pressure on it. Seems like it's been more of the Blue Hens game so far, but huge opportunity here with an offensive zone faceoff.
Yep, that big fourth line that's operated so well with Warner and Wilson. Tonight it's being winged by Jack Hudron as well. Him and James Body rotate so effortlessly with those two. Back on goal, that was Chase Wilson trying to force one block down in front, and now the other way for the Blue Hens. This is Justin Fox. Fox dumps it in, and Joseph Legato will chase for Delaware. Sends it back up to the point for Flom, who will dump again, but Brian Teskey's the only one there. Teskey will use the boards for Petter. Big hit there. That was Andrew Plank hitting Eli Petter into the boards to maintain some possession for Delaware, and a shot there from Plank blocked by Eli Petter.
Yeah, talking about that hit, Plank might have actually gotten more of that than Petter did, despite Plank being the one to deliver the hit.
Yep, Andrew Plank trying to throw his weight around, and Eli Petter with a good response. But look out here, shot from Justin Fox. Easy save for Patty Adams. He was in perfect positioning right there.
Yeah, Adams new to the lineup for the season so far tonight, but I mean, really not missing the beat. He's been more than solid tonight so far.
Yeah, I know that he's been getting a lot of reps in as a men's league goalie for his playing time these days, so he's definitely not out of practice. In neutral, that was Joey Engelman dumping it in for the Blue Hens, but Andre Serra is back for the Terps. Serra playing with Jack Rakowskis at the moment. Rakowskis, the extra skater for the Terps tonight, so he'll be shuffling through all the defensive pairs as needed. Doherty through neutral, plays it ahead for Grant Warner. Warner on the far side, across for Harnan, and it's in! Grant Warner tried to feed it to Patrick Harnan. It got blocked down by a Blue Hen, but they kicked it into their own net. 1-0 Terps.
Yeah, really, really good job there by Warner. Like you said, trying to get the pass. I believe it hit off of Engelman. That is Joey Engelman, a junior for the Blue Hens. And Warner, I mean, sometimes a little bit of luck can go your way. Not for Maryland football today, but like we said, this is the place of magic. Magic happens at the Garden. You saw some magic there from Grant Warner.
Yep, Grant Warner with his second goal of the season right there. A bit of an odd one, as you said. Trying to look for Patrick Harnan on that cross-crease pass. Instead, Joey Engelman kicks it behind Joseph Monty, and it's 1-0 Terps. But they don't ask how. They only say how many.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about it before the game, about how Devin Oliver is going to be out indefinitely with that, I believe it's a hand injury.
Correct.
Yeah, a hand injury. So that's your first-line center in Warner, who has been typically playing second line this year. Another good chance there. He's having himself one heck of a night, just 5.5 minutes into the game.
Yep, Grant Warner with another shot right there, swallowed up by the glove of Joe Monty. Terps will change up their lines, throwing the second line out there now with Pilkington, Romps, and Travis Duchesne. Romps win this faceoff, back to the point for Craven, but he can't handle it, and it's into neutral. Now the other way for the Blue Hens, this is Stam, but Sean Amon intercepts that pass, and Caleb Craven will start a charge the other way. Craven working through neutral. Going 1-on-2.
Oh.
Big hit there. Caleb Craven throwing his weight around against C.J. Mielsarek. Mielsarek went down hard. Craven maintained possession, but now the Blue Hens are still able to clear. Travis Duchesne back for the Terps.
That's another hit where the Blue Hen is the one delivering the hit, but then taking pretty much all of the blow. My goodness, Caleb Craven. He's much smaller than Mielsarek, but Milseric went flying there. My goodness.
Yeah, C.J. Milseric ran into the train tracks right there. Now Caleb Craven trying to get out of his own defensive zone again. Craven waits, leaves it for Pilkington. Pilkington at the top of the zone with a long-range shot, save made by Monty. Travis Duchesne now in the corner. He was the first Terp there, but it's ultimately taken by Polchipek for the Blue Hens. Plays it off the boards for Stam. Stam one-on-one against Sean Amon. Nice move there, but he lost his footing.
Too good of a move there.
Deked himself. For the Blue Hens, trying to play it through neutral. That was Evan Winloff, but he unsuccessfully did so, and now Brian Teskey, the captain, back for the Terps.
Yeah, we got the third line out here right now for Maryland, and I was trying to say this earlier, but you got Schreibman, Dishner, and Haran out there. This is really more of an offensive third line, kind of a rare sight to see in hockey, but it kind of seems like the second and third line's roles are a little bit reversed tonight.
Yep, the third line really looking like a scoring line based on its personnel, and Cam Haran tries to put that one on net, covered up by Joe Monty with that big glove. But as you were saying, you got Michael Schreibman, Cam Haran on the wings. Those are two big sharpshooters, and Nathaniel Dishner was a big passer for the Terps last season, so a third line that's a little bit more offensive-minded than defensive. Just kind of weird rotations from the coaching staff, but after that weekend in North Carolina, they're kind of open to anything, so got to see what works.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're dealing with injuries and you like to substitute players out a lot, like we said, the fourth line is a little bit different. You're going to see a lot of different faces playing with each other, and I think that really goes to show how much chemistry this team has with one another.
Nathaniel Dishner dumping it in for the Terps, but it's taken away by Engelman. Engelman plays it ahead for his teammate Oginski. Oginski tried to get it through neutral, but he lost it, and now back it's Ryan Teskey. Teskey currently working with Jack Rakowskis. Rakowskis tried to feed Haran, but he was bodied by Olensky. And Teskey's able to dump it in. Another big hit. Josh Flom trying to get in front of Brian Teskey there.
Yeah, Bailey talked about it just now. It's going to be a very feisty
Look
game.
out here, Teskey with a shot. Joe Monty had to be ready. Teskey just sneaking in. He got lost in the Blue Hen defense. They had no clue where Maryland's captain was on that near point.
Yeah, and Teskey, he's not afraid to shoot. Tied for the team lead in goals already as a defenseman. And, I mean, he's been clutch this year. He had, I believe it was not the game winner, but one of the goals in the 2-0, was it 2-1 or 2-0 win over Towson early in the year?
3-2.
3-2. My goodness.
You didn't make
it's
that.
Been a long day.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
Got a whistle here for a hand pass, so this faceoff will come out into neutral.
Yeah, but Brian Teskey, I mean, this whole defense crew, I mean, you got Teskey, you got Craven, two guys who are not afraid to let it rip. They both play power play. You see a lot of scoring out of these defensemen, and those two are a big reason why.
My apologies, this one goes all the way back for the hand pass. At the faceoff dot, this is Owen Cunningham for the Blue Hens, but he loses it to Chase Wilson, and Maryland gets it into neutral. Andrew Wallace playing it ahead. Blake Warner got tied up with his teammate there. Chase Wilson is still able to collect the puck, and it's all said and done, and now Delaware will have to retreat in their own zone. This is C.J. Milseric on the near side. Milseric plays it off the boards for Anthony Greco.
It was a nice hit there by Milseric. Finally got the best of one of the Terps. That was Grant, or not Grant, that was
Blake Warner.
Blake Warner, excuse me. And now you got Grant Warner chasing him.
Yep, both Warner brothers in the lineup tonight, so make sure that you keep track of those two. This is Andre Serra playing it out of his own zone for Patrick Harnan. Harnan on the other side. This is Hudrin. Hudrin alone on the right side. He fanned on the shot, and then that rebound is blocked by C.J. Milseric. Now behind the net is Grant Warner. Warner waiting for a passing lane. Now it's at the point for Craven. Craven now to the far circle. Does nice a couple of dangles. Now he's on the other side. Craven pass, a beautiful pass. Sean Amon jammed that one just wide. Now at the point, this is Colin Doherty. Doherty trying to play it deep. And that one hits the Delaware bench, so we will get a whistle here.
I would love to see the advanced statistics of this team when Amon and Craven are on the ice together. My goodness, I mean, Craven, he could play anywhere on the ice, but he really, I mean, some dangles behind the net from a defenseman.
Yeah,
the two of them feed to Amon. My goodness, what chemistry do they have?
Yeah, the two of them just complement each other so well. Craven, one of those more offensive-minded defensemen, and then Sean Amon, your classic stay-at-home. So when they're together, it just works so beautifully on the ice.
Yeah, it reminds me of prime Rasmus Dahlin and Matthias Samuelsson. No one's remembered the 2022 Buffalo Sabres.
Coming out for the Blue Hens, this is Justin Fox who's ahead of it. And now look out here, Legato with a shot, and that one's in. Legato picked the short side over the shoulder of Patty Adams, and we're all tied up at 1.
Yeah, and Plank with a really good feed there to Might have been. I think it was Plank to Fox, and then Fox was able to get it to Legato. But Plank with a beautiful setup. I mean, it could have been a little bit better. It would have been a clear-cut breakaway. Ends up working out for the Blue Hens, and Maryland's going to have to respond.
Yep, Maryland just got caught in transition right there, a 2-on-1 opportunity, and Joseph Legato, the one who's able to cash in. Short side snipe over the blocker of Patty Adams. So that one goes again into the Delaware bench. 10:02 to play here in the first. Maryland's second line now on the ice. James Romps will take this face-off against Andrew Plank. Teskey on the boards. Playing it across. Nobody home, and now the other way. This is Evan Winloff trying to set it up for the Blue Hens. Fox across for Legato. Legato tries to dump it in, but it's taken away by Petter. Petter finds Pilkington. Pilkington now through neutral. Tommy Pilkington waiting for a passing lane to open up. He's getting pressured hard in the boards, and it's taken away by Josh Flom. Now behind the net, a big hit there. James Romps goes down. Taken down there by Josh Flom. Delaware bench is loving it. Maryland one not too happy. Now on the near side, Teskey's got in his own defensive zone, and he'll take it up the other way. Teskey skating with some speed. Leaves it for Duchesne. Duchesne tries to play it in front for Romps. And now we have a whistle from the trail official, has spotted a hold.
It's be on number 7, that's Fox.
It'll be on Justin Fox, and Maryland's headed to the power play. A hold spotted by the trail official behind the play. And Maryland heads to the power play with 9:12 to play here in the first.
Yeah, and Maryland's power play has been very solid this year. We saw it a lot that opening weekend. Travis Duchesne had 2 against Virginia. Or no, not against, was it a good? I'm getting my games mixed up. It's been a very long day for me. I was working the football game, and now I'm here, so a lot of sport. But Travis Duchesne has been pretty good on this power play. I'd watch out for him in the middle of the ice.
Eli Petter across for Caleb Craven. Craven, Petter, and Teskey all on this power play. Terps going with a 3-defenseman look after last week. They experimented with it against Wilmington, and it seems like they're keeping it going. Brian Teskey will start the charge here as he waits for all of the reinforcements. It's Caleb Craven. Craven out of his own zone.
Yeah, you say 3 defensemen. When you have Brian Teskey and Caleb Craven out there, it's pretty much just 1 defenseman.
Yeah,
hey, it's 1 defenseman, 2 forwards, and 2 utilities is what I'll call it.
Well, now they're all off the ice as Maryland changes up its power play
Craven's
unit.
still out there. He's back there. He just left it for Eamon.
Doherty across to Duchesne. Duchesne looking for Harnan in the middle. That pass just goes over his stick. Patrick Harnan now on the far side. Behind the net. Harnan feeds it on the boards for Doherty. Doherty and Harnan play catch. Harnan getting pressured hard by Flom. Good move there. And Doherty's got it at the top of the circle across, looking for Craven. That pass was just offline, and Delaware will vacate the zone. This is number 14, Brian Kramer, out there for the Blue Hens. 40 seconds to go in this penalty to Justin Fox. Joey Engelman now on the near side will send it towards the net. Look out here! Brian Kramer, a shorthanded strike for the Blue Hens. They were just trying to kill some time, and the Terps accidentally left number 14 alone in front. It's 2-1 Delaware.
Yeah, and a really rough goal given up there. And you hear some Delaware fans, pretty good attendance for Delaware for it being a different state and a Saturday night. But, yeah, inexcusable there. You can't – offensive zone turnovers on the power play. I mean, not much you can ask Adams to do there. He almost made the save, showed some of his flexibility there. Yep,
Patrick Adams tried to get a little bit athletic there to do everything he could, but Brian Kramer was truly left all alone and had a wide open net to work with. And now the Blue Hens will clear again. That is Aiden Starr getting it out of the defensive zone. 15 seconds remaining on the penalty. Sean Amon looking for one final rush on this man advantage. Through neutral. This is Doherty. Doherty on the far side. Waits. Doherty now behind the net. Leaves it for Schreibman. Schreibman tried to feed it for Romps, but he wasn't looking up. And we have another penalty coming up. Wait for the touch here, and it is on the Terps. Sean Amon touches up the puck there. Again, the trail official spotting it.
Doherty not a fan of that.
Yep, another one where the trail official's calling a hold. Colin Doherty very upset about this one.
Doherty, one of the more animated guys on the team. Not afraid to show his emotion. Definitely not afraid to show there, but Maryland's penalty kill has been a bright spot in this team so far, at least in my opinion. I mean, all of the Maryland defensemen can pretty much play all three phases of hockey, so that's an advantage they have, and good draw win there by Harnan.
Yep. Harnan won the draw, and now the Terps will vacate the zone. Harnan doing it there after an initial clearing attempt from Duchesne. Back for the Blue Hens, this is number 28, Chris Sager. Sager waits, and now the Blue Hens will start their rush. Plays it for Stam. Brendan Stam dumps it into the zone. Around the boards, Duchesne's the only one there, tries to get it out, but it's kept in at the point by Sager. Sager dumps it in deep for Pulchipek and leaves it at the point for Stam. Stam down to Kramer. Kramer on the near side. Plays it low for Pulchipek. Pulchipek tries to get in front for, that was number 18, Patrick Olensky, but a good defensive stick for Brian Teskey. Look out here. Pulchipek decided to call his own number. Big save from Patty Adams, and the Terps clear. 1:08 to go in the penalty to Doherty. Brian Kramer into the zone again for Delaware, but this time he's offside.
Yeah, and we see Robinson and Grant Warner out there now for Maryland. Those two played very, very well together on the penalty kill that opening weekend. It was a big reason why they were able to shut out Virginia. I mean, their special teams has been very good so far this season. Obviously, they gave up the shorthanded goal, something you do not want to see ever, but if you get out of this penalty, you might have a little bit of momentum.
Brady Morrow wins this faceoff for Delaware, and they will vacate into their defensive zone while they set up the power play attack. Anthony Greco in his own end. Has a nice passing lane for Josh Flom. Flom now into the offensive zone. Tries to play it into the middle for Owen Cunningham, but that one's blocked by Grant Warner, and the Blue Hens will go into center again. Caleb Craven stalls him up at the line there, and now Grant Warner is able to clear it further. 35 seconds to go in Doherty's hold. Joey Engelman starting it up behind his own net. Greco through neutral. On the far side. Plays it towards the front. That was a good pass for Brady Morrow, but he couldn't get the shot off. Now back to the point, it's Engelman. Engelman using the boards to try and send it low for Cunningham, but Caleb Craven ties him up, and Sean Amon will be able to clear it out to neutral. 10 seconds left. That should be enough to clear this penalty for the Terps. As Engelman goes behind his own net. 4, 3, 2, 1. We are back to even strength as Colin Doherty touches the ice. Chase Wilson now with an offside entry that's washed out. Wilson keeping the pressure on. Wilson going towards the center. Tried to get it in front there. Now Jack Hundred down low. Hundred to the point for Wallace. Wallace across to Sarah. Sarah with a long-range shot. That one's blocked down in front. And now Jack Hundred's got again looking in front there. Good opportunity for Chase Wilson. Wallace now on the near side. Sends it around the boards. Hudrin on the far end. We'll use the boards again. Warner's behind the net. Warner using his body to hold on to that puck. Warner plays it around for Wilson. The referee got in the way there, and now Delaware's got the puck. This is Flom.
Ooh,
Flom
nice
there,
hit.
checked by Blake
My
Warner.
goodness.
But Delaware still maintains the possession. This is carried out to center by Brady Morrow.
Oh,
Morrow checked hard there by
into the
John
board.
Hundred.
Oh, we got this.
And this
might
will
get
get a little bit ugly here. Jack Hundred
Oh.
with a big hit on Brady Morrow. And everybody was in front of the Maryland penalty box right there. Jack Hudrin ultimately ends up with his back on the ice.
Number 3, Morrow, was not in front of the penalty box. He was in the penalty box. That's the type of hit we just saw.
Grant Warner taken down there with a potential hook and no call from the official. Josh Flom with a big defensive play there. Now Harnan behind the Delaware net. Tries to play it for Warner, but it's stolen by Flom. Warner sends it to the front. Nobody home, and Greco will clear for the Blue Hens. Andre Serra is going to be the first one there. Sarah.
Ooh, nice moves.
Good moves there, and now Doherty's got with some speed into the offensive zone. Doherty on the near circle, leaves for Harnan. Harnan taking it deep. Harnan looking back for Doherty. It skips over his stick, but now at the point, this is Petter with a long-range shot. That one's saved by Monty. Down low, this is Warner. Warner out to Harnan. Harnan to the point for Petter. That one over his stick. It's broken, and now a good defensive recovery
nice
from
body,
Eli Petter after he broke his stick. Justin Fox tied up there by Eli Petter. And now Maryland's got the puck again. Patrick Harnan into the offensive zone. Leaves for Craven. Across the other side, this is Romps. Romps tries to play it in deep, but the only one there is Danny Downey of the Blue Hens. But now Maryland's got it back. Harnan with a shot. That one's blocked down in front by Legato. Back to the point. This is Craven. Craven can't handle it, and Delaware's got it back into neutral. But Craven maintains some possession.
Nice spin there. Not a good pass, but a very nice spin.
Yep, good spin move from Craven, but the pass to Harnan was offline. Delaware's able to get a much-needed change. Travis Duchesne now through neutral. Plays it across for Pilkington. Pilkington into the offensive zone with Romps. Romps leaves it back to Pilkington. Pilkington trying to get towards the net, leaves it for Craven. Craven across for Rakauskas. Rakauskas long-range shot patted down by Monty. Rebound gloved away. Back to the point, it's Rakauskas again. Saucer pass to Craven. Craven, good dangle there. Shot! Save made by Monty, and he will cover. Great dangle there from Caleb Craven to get in tight on Joseph Monty, but he came up with the save and covered up that rebound.
Yeah, Maryland, they're really going to have to work if they want to get by Monty. I mean, aside from the goal, which really was a wacky play, Monty's been lights out tonight, and you can tell by the score it's 2-1 in favor of Delaware right now. But I mean, Caleb Craven, what dangles did he just show off there? My goodness. I mean, he had the spin pass, which was nearly a breakaway for Delaware, but I mean, a beautiful move there.
Wallace with a shot from the point. That one was tipped down. Travis Duchesne with the rebound in front. Joseph Monty has the answer there, but we got a slash on Delaware. Terps are headed back to the power play with 1:52 to go here in the first.
Yeah, and a big opportunity here for Maryland to tie this game up.
It's the defenseman Chris Sager going off for the Blue Hens.
Yeah, when you have a penalty against your defenseman, that is huge. I mean, your defensemen, they're the people who kill the penalties, right? I mean, like, the defensemen kill the penalties like the magic happens at the Garden, you know?
It's been a long day for you.
I'm having so much fun today. It's just, yeah.
Terps will start with their second unit for this power play. James Romps will take this face-off against Stam. Stam wins it back for, this is Aiden Starr, but Starr's working 1-on-3 against a bunch of Terps, and Michael Schreibman comes up with the puck. Schreibman now in the corner. Down for Romps. Romps around the boards to Warner, and now the Terps will try and set up the power play, but Warner loses that puck. Look out, another potential shorthanded opportunity. Brian Kramer already with one shorthanded strike tonight. Was looking to get another one with a 2-on-1 there.
Yeah, Kramer, it was a poor pass, and if he had taken it himself, it might have been a 2-on-1. Maryland.
But Delaware stalls up Maryland again in center, and now they've got numbers the other way. Michael Schreibman getting back in his defensive zone. Good check there on Brendan Stam, and then another one on Aiden Starr. This is Colin Doherty working against Starr in the corner. Romps joins the party. Officials asking the players to move the puck, and Romps is the one who gets it out. 1 minute to go here in this period, 1:05 to go in the penalty. Schreibman now leaves it for Amon behind the Maryland net. Sean Amon left it again for Schreibman, but he wasn't ready for it, and now Stam has it for the Blue Hens. To the point, this is Aiden Starr. Starr will play it back for Milseric, and Delaware is able to kill a lot of time here. Just some miscommunication from the Terps on that power play. That was about a 3:15 seconds that they got right there.
Yeah, Maryland, their penalty, or their power play, not the sharpest so far tonight. They got a new unit out there, maybe can generate some type of momentum.
Starting to change up the personnel. This is Grant Warner into the offensive zone, but Schreibman was offside. 25 seconds to go in the period, 33 seconds left on the power play, still 2-1 Delaware. Maryland will finish off this change to get out their entire first unit for this final 25 seconds of period one. Patrick Harnan will take this face-off against Patrick Olensky. Harnan wins it back for Teskey, and Teskey will dump in. Off the boards, this is Petter. Petter playing it in deep, working against Josh Flom. Petter tying up Flom so that Harnan can get that puck. Now Duchesne's got it for Craven. Craven to the point for Teskey. Teskey with a shot. That one's a good block there from Holchklepek, but it broke his stick. Now on the boards, this is Petter. Petter down for Duchesne. Back to Teskey, and they're out of time.
Yeah, and Petter's having a word with the official. Didn't like something out there, but Maryland, you got to take a shot there. You're on the power play. One of the penalty killers has a broken stick. No shots generated. You still got 8 seconds, so Maryland will go into the second period on the power play.
Yep, Terps will start this second period with 8 seconds of time on the power play, but we will head to intermission where Bailey Unchester will interview somebody, we believe. Don't know
Allegedly.
who yet. But yep, stay tuned. Welcome back for the second period of play here on the Maryland Hockey Network. I'm Andy Parr, joined by Owen Korzak and Bailey Unchester. Unfortunately, our first intermission interview was slightly off timing, but don't worry, we've got a very special guest coming in for the second intermission, so stay tuned for that.
I think from now on, we should not say that we're going to do it at first intermission interview. I think we said that every home game, and I don't think we've actually done a single first intermission interview so far.
I think we've gotten one. We've gotten one done, but.
Anyways,
one is
back
better
to
than none,
so.
Back to the task at hand. 8 more seconds on this Maryland power play as we begin this second period, and they trail the Delaware Blue Hens 2-1. Some highlights in that first period, but definitely also some things to be cleaned up. When I was chatting with the coaches in the intermission, they were definitely saying a lot of things along the lines of, I'll be careful on how I word this, but basically they were saying Maryland was getting a little bit too sleepy a lot of times in neutral in their defensive zone, leading to those odd man rushes for Delaware and all those scoring opportunities. So that's definitely the kind of thing the Terps want to try and prevent in this second period of play.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, like you said, it's been there's been highlights, there's been lowlights. Something that's for certain, it's been a very wacky game. Obviously, you had the first goal by Grant Warner where it hit off of I think it was number 4 Engelman. I don't remember. Like we say, we don't have replay. We're shooting this off of off of MacBook with a University of Maryland like dash cam. It's where we're making the most out of what we have. But yeah, like we said, very very wacky first period. Grant Warner with the only goal for Maryland opened up the scoring. Ooh, and a nice block there by Harden.
Yep, and Harden will take it into the offensive zone as that is Sager coming out of the box, but a good rebound opportunity there for Colin Doherty after Harden took that initial shot. Doherty on the far side, playing at even strength now. Caleb Craven at the point with a shot that goes wide. Grant Warner collects it on the near side. Warner across for Craven. Craven on the circle trying to feed Doherty in front, but that one was deflected away. On the boards, this is Sean Amon. Amon pinching in deep. Tries to play it for Harden, but it's taken away by Joey Engelman. Engelman ahead for Kramer. Kramer skies it, and it hits the ceiling, and we're going to have a defensive zone draw for the Blue Hens.
Yeah, and I'm a really big fan of what we just saw out of Maryland. They came out all gas, no brakes. I mean, my goodness. I mean, they got like 3 or 4 shots in the first 40 seconds of this period. That's exactly what you want to see after a period that did not go your way.
Absolutely. Terps coming out with some fire to start this second period. Eli Petter off the face-off, a shot that's blockered away by Joe Monty. Nearing inside, that was Patrick Harnan. Leaves it for Warner, a shot from Teskey. Rebound, score! Patrick Harnan tapping home that rebound off the Teskey one-timer. We're all tied up at 2.
Like we said, I mean, it was all gas, no brakes to start this period. We're 52 seconds into this period. We have a goal. We have 3 or 4 shot attempts, and it's been a lot of high-quality shot attempts as we see one finally go through. Off the rebound, Patrick Harnan hits that one home, and we are all tied up here.
Only takes 52 seconds for the Terps to tie up the score here in the second period. Patrick Harnan cleaning up the trash in front after a great one-time opportunity for Brian Teskey.
That'll be Harnan's second goal of the year. He's been very, very solid. We've seen a lot of growth from him from his first year to the second year. He's been a really big reason why this first line, I mean, no matter who's the center, no matter who's the other wing, whoever he's on the ice with, they've looked good. And he's one of the best players on this team, plays first line minutes for a reason every night.
Back in his defensive zone, this is Aiden Starr for the Blue Hens. Around the boards for Olensky. Tries to play it ahead through neutral, but it's taken away by Tommy Pilkington. Pilkington sends it back to Petter. Petter will use the boards to reset for Maryland. This one goes off the pad of Joe Monty. He leaves it for Starr. Starr fanned on that pass out, but Delaware's able to recover. Pulchlepek tries to get out of the zone, but Sarah keeps it in for the moment for the Terps. Still is able to get it in deep. Now this is Duchesne. Duchesne with a sharp angle shot, blockered away by Monty. Now trying to jam it in front. That was Pilkington, and Monty stuffs it with the pad, and we get a whistle.
Yeah, Maryland really aggressive here to open this period, and it's working. Puck has pretty much been in their offensive zone the entire period. About 2 minutes in here, 18:04 left. Maryland probably around 5 or 6 shots here. All of them have been high danger chances.
Nathaniel Dishner winning this face-off for the Terps, back for Andre Serra. Serra on the near circle will take a shot that goes wide of Monty. Wallace at the other point. Sends it in a little bit deeper, but Brady Morrow's the first one there. He'll play it around the boards. This is Danny Downey for the Blue Hens. Downey taken down by Cam Haran. Now on the boards, this is Dishner working with Haran. Haran gets it out to the point for Sarah. Sarah on the near side. Sends it down low to Dishner. Dishner will play it around the boards. First one there is going to be Cam Haran working against Brady Morrow. Squirts out to the other side. This is Wallace. Wallace will play it in deep again. Haran behind the net with a wraparound attempt, and that one goes wide. Wallace from the point. Pad save for Monty. Now down low. This is Dishner with a pass out to Haran, and another save by Monty. He will cover this one up. More offensive zone pressure, this time coming from the third line.
Yeah, we see Dishner there, like you said, Andy, earlier tonight. You said that he's, I mean, a really good passer. We saw a beautiful pass there behind the back to Haran. High danger chance again. Monty's really playing solid tonight. It seems like the two weirder chances are the only ones he's let through.
Yep, those weird chances are sometimes the ones that work. But now look out here. It's a 2-on-1. This is Plank with a shot. Glove saved by Patty Adams. He decided to shoot it himself instead of taking that passing lane, and Adams was ready with the glove. Now at the point, this is Engelman. Engelman gets around one skater there, but the Terps are able to clear. Cam Haran gets it out of the defensive zone, but this will be icing against Maryland. But a big save from Patty Adams right before that.
Yeah, I think going back to that shot and the save by Adams, I think Craven might have gotten a little piece of that puck. Adams, it didn't go into his glove, but Adams, he's had good location all night. He's played very solid, despite what the score sheet might say.
Joseph Legato will go against Nathaniel Dishner on this faceoff. Dishner wins it back for Craven. Craven with a lot of room in neutral. And Schreibman not able to drag that skate in time, so this will be offside on Maryland.
Yeah, Schreibman's second time being caught offsides tonight, something that the Terps got to work on. It seems like every night they have a few offsides that just don't need to happen. Craven with a lot of room there, and it stops what would have been a 2-on-2 rush.
Sean Amon dumps this one into the offensive zone. And Monty will take no chances as Chase Wilson was starting to apply some pressure. Maryland now with their fourth line out on the ice. Just about 3.5 minutes into this second period of play. 2-2 now the score between the Terps and the Blue Hens. Chase Wilson wins this faceoff back to Craven. Craven sends it low for Blake Warner. Warner will use the boards to try and play it for Craven again, but that passes off its target, and it goes all the way down to Patty Adams. And now Adams will cover as Justin Fox was coming in hard there.
Yeah, Justin Fox, a lot of speed there, and I mean, typically you were able to let your goalie pass that puck to whoever he wants there. It would have been either Amon or Craven there. But Justin Fox, I mean, forcing the first offensive zone faceoff tonight for Delaware and Maryland. They're going to really have to lock in defensively here.
Wilson wins another faceoff here, gets it back for Teskey, who uses the boards to get it for Warner. Warner tips it, so no ice here. Neil Sarek and Starr back for the Blue Hens.
They're going to call it an icing. Wow. Not sure I've seen that too many times.
There was no whistle. They just yelled, no, no, no.
And now it comes all the way back. I'm not sure. Maybe we just didn't hear it. We got headphones on.
Yeah, it was a quiet whistle if there was one. Eli Petter with it for the Terps. Tries to get it out, but it's kept in for the moment by Stam, and now Teskey's got it for Maryland. He'll play it ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin trying to get Chase Wilson there. And now Blake Warner has it on the near side. Warner with a shot that goes wide of Joe Monty. Teskey at the point with another shot. That one's patted away by Monty. Teskey's got it again. Sends it around the boards. Jack Hudrin tried to get there, but this will be Delaware going the other way with Brian Kramer. Kramer working 2-on-2. Kramer, poke check there by Teskey, and now into the boards. Teskey with a check of Brian Kramer, and Maryland will clear the zone. This one rolling, and it will be no ice as Neil Sarek plays it. Now Blake Warner's got it. Warner played it to his brother Grant. Grant now at the top of the zone. Ahead for Blake. Blake Warner in, and he's tripped down by Starr. No call. Doherty with a rebound opportunity. Good opportunity there for the Terps as they caught Delaware in transition in the middle of a change. Doherty trying to jam it in again, and the net gets pushed off its moorings.
My goodness. There were like 3 or 4 chances again in just last 15 or so seconds. Maryland is really, really bringing it this period. The few chances that Delaware has had, they've not really been able to make much out of it. But Maryland, right there, we saw the Warner brothers. Some chemistry there between them two.
Yep, not usually on the ice together, but Maryland was in the middle of a change, so Grant and Blake were working well right there.
3 different players might have had chances there. Doherty maybe had the best one with a point-blank shot.
Grant Warner now using the boards to try and get it back for Andre Serra. Serra getting pressured hard and now into neutral. This is Brendan Stam. Stam tries to
Really
get
good
across
play
for
there
Kramer.
by
Good
Rakowskis.
defensive stick from Rakowskis. And now Rakowskis is in with Harnan. Rakowskis with a shot off the pad of Joe Monty. Maryland will reset again in neutral. Andre Serra plays it ahead for Harnan. Harnan with a
Ooh,
backhand
that's gotta
feed,
be-
and
Yeah,
we have a penalty
that's gotta
coming
be a
up here.
penalty, Yeah.
Patrick Harnan really struggling to get to his feet. That was a tough knee-on-knee hit.
He's being helped by Sarah, and that is a guy that Maryland cannot lose. I mean, just plain and simple. They already lost Devin Oliver for the foreseeable future, losing 2 of your opening day first-line forwards is, I mean, that is really
Officials
really a
discussing
recipe for
right
the
now.
disaster.
It will only be a 2-minute penalty for kneeing. This one's on number 14, Brian Kramer. And the Terps go back to the power play. Kramer, the man who scored shorthanded for Delaware, in the box now. James Romps wins this face-off back for Amon. Amon with a shot blocked down in front by Engelman, and Delaware will vacate the zone. Polchapek has a little bit of speed the other way. Polchapek with a shot blocked by Amon. Tries to feed it across. Looking for a pass to Owensky, but he wasn't there.
Net was open there. Adams maybe a little bit lucky that that one was a pass.
Yep, Patty Adams will think that that one was a pass instead of a shot as James Romps tries to direct this one into the corner. Doherty back for Romps. Romps sends it in front, nobody home, and now Delaware will be able to clear the zone again. This is Polchapek getting it ahead, and now Sean Amon will go behind his own net. Already 40 seconds gone in this penalty to Brian Kramer.
Yeah, looking at the bench, Harnan looks ready to get out there again, so Maryland really fortunate that nothing serious happened.
Yeah, Patrick Harnan took a minute to get up, but he is a tough player to say the least. Sean Amon with a takeaway there and a shot from the point. Rebound squirts out to James Romps. Nothing there. Rebound again, Grant Warner. That one's blocked by Patrick Olensky. Around the boards, this is Amon now on the near circle. Amon takes it down low, working against Engelman. Amon with a backhand feed to the point for Grant Warner. Warner waiting. Over to Doherty. Doherty down low to Warner.
He wanted to shoot that, Doherty.
Sure looked like he did. Warner tries to play it around the boards for Romps. Intercepted for the moment by Delaware, and Schreiman's got it back, and Amon has it on the far side. Amon to Doherty. Doherty with a shot. That one's tipped wide by Polchapek. Now Josh Flom tries to clear it. Kept in again by Dolan Doherty, and now the Blue Hens will clear. This is Olensky through neutral with 20 seconds to go on the penalty to Kramer. Olensky with a shot muffled by Sean Amon. Maryland's got the puck again. This is Travis Duchesne. Only 10 seconds to go on the kneeing to Brian Kramer. Caleb Craven on the near side, working 1-on-4. Craven sends it to the point for Duchesne. Duchesne waits. Kramer's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. This is Harnan now. Harnan already back out onto the ice. Tries to play it in deep, but it's taken away by Winloff, who will use the boards, but it only goes to Caleb Craven. And now look out here. Brian Kramer steals it from Craven. Kramer in alone. Shot save made by Adams. He got around with the pad after Kramer tried to deke it. And the Terps will ice this one. No, Travis Duchesne with an extra burst of speed to wash out that icing. Out for Jack Hudrin. Couldn't get the shot off there.
That was a beautiful pass there by Duchesne. Hudrin was all alone in the slot.
In neutral, this is Petter who will dump in. Downey will chase for Delaware, pressured by Hudrin. Downey will play it around the boards, but it's taken away by Blake Warner. Warner down low, looking for a passing lane. Tried to get to Chase Wilson, but the only one there is Brady Morrow for Delaware. Delaware trying to get out of the zone, but another good keep in there from Blake Warner. Winloff desperately trying to get a change in here. Petter steals it again. That one's played with a high stick.
No doubt about that one.
Delaware will be able to change, but it was still played with a high stick as we have 11:36 to go here in the second period, tied at 2 apiece.
Yeah, I really like what I see from Maryland here. That power play, although they didn't score, they had a lot of really good movement there. Delaware was playing the puck very well, a lot of blocked shots. Love to see that after 2 not-so-great power play opportunities earlier tonight.
Schreibman with this one in the offensive zone. Third line getting a lot of minutes early in this second period after an impressive start.
Nice hit there by Haran.
Cam Haran with a big check into the boards. That was Justin Fox who was on the receiving end. Schreibman trying to throw his weight around there against Aiden Starr, but Delaware's got the puck. Tip through neutral. That was Joseph Legato, one of Delaware's goal scorers tonight. Maryland trying to get out of the zone. A turnover there. Joseph Legato trying to make it 2 for himself. Shoves it on net towards Patty Adams, and we've got a little bit of extracurriculars after he covers that one. It's Justin Fox and Andrew Plank in there for Delaware, Brian Teskey and Michael Schreidman for Maryland.
Yeah, like we said earlier tonight, these two teams kind of unofficial rivals. You know, these games get a little gritty, they get a little messy, and a nice hit there from Horan.
Cam Horan with a big check off the faceoff there on Justin Fox. Fox very upset about that one, but that was just a good piece of hockey from Cam Horan. Two of them are still jawing at each other. Look out here. Another direct win back for Fox. Fox skates away from Horan this time, but Eli Petter's able to take the puck because of it. Around the boards looking for Horan, but it's kept in by Mielceric. Mielceric trying to play it in deep, but Brian Teskey takes it for the Terps, and now Cam Horan's got a little bit of speed if he can control this puck. Horan leaves for Schreibman.
Great play there by Dishner, yeah.
Yep, Dishner able to keep it in at the point, and Maryland's caught in the middle of a defensive change.
Nice hit by Dishner.
The other way.
Really showing some physicality here.
The other way, this is Mielceric and Starr. Starr hit hard there by Brian Teskey. And Mielceric crunches down Cam Horan.
Is not a fan
and
of that.
There we go. We're getting a little bit more physical here. Penalty coming up on Maryland. Andrew Wallace, the one who touches up there, and we'll see if that penalty is the only one that gets called. A lot of checking right in front of the Delaware penalty box.
Dishner exchanging some words too. Yeah, it's going to be on Horan. Horan was very chippy there with Fox. We saw that. I mean,
a lot of very upset Delaware fans inside of this crowd.
Yeah, we apologize, you guys overhear any profane language. Like we said, we're just setting up on the table with the dash cam, so making do with what we got. And it looks like we're gonna have a 4-on-4. Nope. I just can't count, I guess.
Only penalty was a cross check to Cam Horan, so Delaware will get to work on the power play for the first time this evening. But James Romps wins that first faceoff. Caleb Craven's got it back down low. Doherty tries to clear. Still being hepped in for a moment, and now it's out. Caleb Craven into the offensive zone. We'll rag some time off this clock. Stam will get things started for the Blue Hens. And apologies, this is Delaware's second power play of the evening.
Yeah, we had a penalty earlier on, I think it was maybe a hold on Doherty. Some type of penalty on Doherty.
Delaware setting it up here. This is Chris Sager at the point with the long-range shot. Now down low, this is Kramer. Kramer now to the top of the circle. Sends it low again for Olensky, a feed across there. Good defensive stick from Colin Doherty on Chris Sager. At the point, this is Stam with a shot deflected by Polchapek. Patty Adams ready with the pad there. Stam again at the point. Sent it to the circle for Kramer. Back to the point for Stam. Stam didn't get all that one, so that's an easy pick for Sean Amon, and he will clear. 1 minute gone in this penalty to Cam Horan. Stam behind his own net to reset again for the Blue Hens. Stam with a long stretch pass. That one's touched by Olensky, but Brian Teskey will be the first one there, trying to use the boards to get it out. Travis Duchesne will help finish the job. And look out here. Harnon's got some speed. Patrick Harnon coming in. Shot. Score! Patrick Harnon, a shorthanded strike. 3-2 Terps.
Special teams, special plays, special players. I completely just special plays, special players, special teams, whatever it is. Special teams have been the difference in the game tonight. My goodness. Patrick Harnon, what a night he's having. That's his second goal here. A beautiful move there. Got Monty just.
Yeah, very similar to when Delaware struck shorthanded. Maryland caught their defenseman who's supposed to be quarterbacking that point sleeping. It turns into an odd man rush the other way. Travis Duchesne doing the heavy lifting to get it out of the zone. Patrick Harnon finishing it off with his speed. Gets in one-on-one on Monty and pulls off a beautiful deke for the shorthanded strike. Still 26 seconds remaining in the penalty to Cam Horan, but Maryland now with a 3-2 lead. Harnon wins this face-off again, and Teskey will dump it, killing more time off this clock. Joey Engelman back for the Delaware Blue Hens. Engelman waiting for some options. He'll circle again. Engelman still behind his own net. Really taking his time here. Plays it ahead for Brady Morrow. 3-2 one, and as Patrick Harnan clears, Cam Haran's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. Great penalty killing from Maryland on that man advantage.
Yeah, penalty killing is always great when you score a shorthanded goal, but even when Delaware had possession, a nice hit there by Blake Warner. But as I was saying, even when Delaware had possession in their offensive zone, they really didn't have any good opportunities.
Out here, this is Jack Hudron trying to feed the front for Wilson. Wilson tried to get across for Blake Warner. Tic-tac-toe passing. All three of them were just a little bit off their mark. Blake Warner will dump it again.
Oh, we got a fight going on behind the play.
Behind the play here.
Sarah
This is Andre Serra working against
Greco.
Anthony Greco. Anthony Greco grabbed Serra after the two of them were talking, and Serra did not say no to getting a dance partner right there.
They're not even going to call Sarah for the penalty. No, they will.
I believe it's going to be 4-on-4 here. Serra and Greco both going off. Didn't look like too much. Should just be roughing minors each way. We'll wait for the official call, though. All right, so the official call is a hold on Anthony Greco and then the retaliation rough from Andre Serra. As I said, Anthony Greco originally grabbing Serra in neutral and Serra throwing some punches in return. So it'll be 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes here in the second.
Yeah, 4-on-4 was nearly the difference in Maryland's opening win against Towson. They gave up, I believe, 1 or 2 4-on-4 goals. Nearly ended up costing them. Obviously got the shootout win. But an interesting scenario here.
Yep, a lot of open space with this 4-on-4 opportunity. Caleb Craven with it for the Terps. Craven into the offensive zone. Will play it low, trying to get for Warner, but Evan Winloff is there for the Blue Hens. Plays it around the boards and ends up on the stick of Brendan Fleming. Fleming will use the boards to try and get it out, but it's kept in by Rakowskis. Rakowskis down low for Doherty. Doherty loses it to Owensky, and Delaware's out the other way. This is Polchipek dumping it in from center. Jack Rakowskis back there for the Terps. Will use the boards and get it through neutral. This is Grant Warner. Warner now with a little bit of room. Warner leaves it for Doherty. Doherty with a shot from the circle. That one's blocked by Patrick Olensky. Polchipek again for the Blue Hens. Sends it back for Olensky. Olensky into the offensive zone, and he scores! Patrick Olensky working 1-on-2. An innocent-looking shot, just able to beat Patty Adams on the blocker side, and we're all tied up at 3.
Yeah, 4-on-4. Another really, really just unfortunate goal given up there by Adams. And like I said, 4-on-4 was nearly the difference in the Towson game, and here comes Delaware responding quickly. Maryland scored 2 very, kind of quick goals this period. Here we are in the back half, but it's been all Maryland so far, and 4-on-4. Huge opportunity there for Delaware, and they capitalized.
Yeah, and that one wasn't even really a true 4-on-4 goal. It wasn't Olensky using all that open space, just kind of taking a low-risk shot to get it on net and look for an offensive zone draw, and he ends up beating Patty Adams on the blocker side.
Yeah, that's when Adams normally would have. Unfortunate there for him. Hopefully it doesn't halt his confidence. He's had a very solid night. Hasn't seen too much this period, though. Maryland has really been dominant.
Yep, sometimes when that happens, you just don't face a lot of shots in the period, and one like that can surprise you, as it looked like it did for Adams right there. But now 27 seconds left in this 4-on-4. James Romps gets it into the offensive zone for the Terps. Harnan now on the far side, sends it down low again to Romps. Romps back to the point for Teske. Teske surveys his options, will take the shot. That one's blocked down by Kramer, but the rebound was for Harnan. Harnan now on the far circle. Tries to play it in front, but it's taken away by Milsarek. Milsarek sends it ahead for Stam. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're back to 5-on-5. Kramer to Milsarek. Milsarek flubbed on that pass, and Teske will clear. Out of the box, this is Andre Serra. Serra working against Aiden Starr. Serra into the offensive zone. Had a little bit of room, but had to slow down for that puck. Now this is Greco, the other man who was in the box for the Blue Hens. Leaves it for Milsarek. Greco gets it back on his stick as Delaware enters the offensive zone, looking for a pass there, taken away by Caleb Craven. Craven trying to use the boards to get ahead for Haran, but no dice there. 5 minutes to play here in the second. Haran Gets it ahead for Schreibman. Terps have numbers the other way. Schreibman looking. Schreibman across for Craven. Good defensive stick there from Joey Engelman. Maryland still dangerous here. Schreibman, he's got some passing lanes open. Schreibman waits. Shot save made by Joe Monty.
Oh,
and a little hit after the play by Joey Engelman on Caleb Craven. Craven keeping his emotions in check there, nothing further. But a good shot there from Michael Schreibman.
Yeah, I have a feeling this game could get very ugly very quickly. I mean, that one, I don't really think Craven did much there. I think that it might have been Engelman who dove and really prevented Schreibman from, making one of his, marquee nice passes.
Third line still out there for the Terps. Dishner with a clean win and Wallace with a shot off the faceoff. That one goes wide of the net. Sarah tries to keep it in, but he can't. And now the other way, this is number 25, Andrew Plank. Plank trying to work 1-on-3. Backhands that one over the net. Back to the point, this is Engelman. Engelman with a shot. That one's blocked by Cam Haran. Down low again, it's Plank. Plank sends it out to the point for Flom. Flom with a shot. That one's blocked by Schreibman. And now Andrew Wallace has it for the Terps. Wallace getting pressured there, but he'll be able to leave it for Sarah. Sarah skies this one high up, and Josh Flom has it for the Blue Hens in his own defensive zone. Through neutral, this is Justin Fox. Fox working 1-on-2. Good defensive stick there from Wallace as he strips Fox of the puck. But he loses it again. Fox on the near side with a shot that goes over the net. At the point, this is Flom. Flom sending it down low for Plank. Plank looking into the slot for Fox, and a big save there. Patty Adams with a big stop, and now everything's going loose. Wallace against Fox in front of the net. Fox took down Wallace after Adams made that save, and Wally's not going to let that one go lightly.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I mean, they attacked Craven for doing less earlier in this game, or not even earlier in this game, like 2-3 minutes ago. Wallace, who's, only in his third game, only his third appearance so far this season. Coach Trevor Drake, he really likes Wallace. He was a little sad that he hasn't played the past few games. He talked to us after the Towson sweep.
Fox
really
and Wallace both going off the ice here. Back to another 4-on-4 opportunity.
Yeah, Maryland, they're not gonna be able to give up a goal here. If they are able to do that, all of the positive, really anything that they did this period, which it's been a very solid period for them. Score is tied, but they've been clearly the better team this period. If they give up another goal here, go into the third period down, it'd be a heartbreaker for them.
Yep. Delaware scoring on the last 4-on-4 opportunity. The man who did it, Patrick Olinsky, loses that face-off to Patrick Harnan. Eli Petter leaves it for Teskey. Teskey cruising through neutral. Will dump this one in as he was working 1-on-4, but he's got a little bit of room now. Behind his own net, this is Downey trying to use the boards, but it's kept in by Petter. Petter low for Harnan. Harnan back to Petter. Petter will dump it in again, but Polchapek's there for the Blue Hens. Polchapek plays it for Downey. Downey kind of lost that one on the boards and gets checked in by Travis Duchesne. Polchapek with it again. Polchapek, pass up to Olensky. Olensky with Polchapek on the far side. Back to the point, this is Fleming. Fleming with a long-range shot, that one goes wide. Polchapek checked hard by Brian Teskey there as this one clicks out of play. 2:56 to go in the second and 1:12 in these matching minors. This face-off will be to the right of Patty Adams. Or apologies, they'll take it back out into neutral. No, Maryland Terrapin deflected it on the way out. Sean Amon with it for the Terps, plays it ahead for Craven. Craven across to Doherty. Doherty with some speed into the offensive zone. Leaves for Craven. Craven behind the net. Craven now to the far side. Gets pressured on the boards by Greco. Craven working against Greco and Starr. Tied up on the board, Sean Amon joins the fight. Amon can't get that one, and now the other way, this is Chris Sager for the Blue Hens. Sager working against Grant Warner. And now Sager checked hard there by Caleb Craven, and that's going to be a board on Caleb Craven. A heavy hit there, but a little bit too aggressive in the eyes of the officials, and Craven's not going to like that one, and I've got to say, from up here, that really just seemed like a hockey play.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. With how physical this game has been, I really don't think that was the worst we've seen. I think that the play earlier where someone flew into the penalty box, that might have been, not might have been, that was a lot worse. Not sure if they called a penalty on that, but I think with how this game is played, you got to let that play out. Had this been a very soft game and not a lot of hits, could see that being called, but not a fan of that call there.
Delaware will work with a 4-on-3 power play for the next 36 seconds. But Patrick Harnon wins this faceoff back for Teskey, and they immediately get into neutral as Josh Flom can't keep it in with his glove. Flom now resetting for the Blue Hens. Lots of open space now with the 4-on-3. Flom ahead for Stam. Stam, that was offside with no whistle.
Yeah, with how aggressive they've been calling Maryland offside, surprised they didn't call that one. My goodness.
Stam now into the offensive zone for the Blue Hens. Back to the point, this is Kramer. Kramer across for Flom. Flom with a one-timer save made by Adams. Eli Petter slows up that rebound and uses the boards to get it out. 2-1. Wallace is out of the box. We're back to 5-on-4. 1:40 to go here in the period. 1:20 left on the penalty to Caleb Craven. Up ahead, this is Pulchipek. Pulchipek found some space with a shot going low blocker. Patty Adams with the stop there. Harnon now trying to use the boards to get it out. Harnon tries to put it towards the point, but Josh Flom's there for the Blue Hens. Flom across to Kramer. Kramer tries to lead that one back for Stam. He was a little bit slow to it. Behind the net, this is Pulchipek. He was looking for Chris Sager there, but couldn't connect on that pass. Kramer behind the net. To the point for Stam. Stam cruising in on the circle with a shot that goes wide of the cage, and it'll be a free clear for the Terps as it rattles around those boards. Josh Flom resetting one more time. This is Kramer. Good stick check from Travis Duchesne there to stall him up. Brian Teskey takes possession and clears it again. 25 seconds to go in the roughing penalty to Caleb Craven.
Much needed clearance there from Maryland. Really good job by Teskey there to get that all the way to the other side of the ice. Harnon had been out there the entire penalty. Good job there by Teskey.
Aiden Starr now for the Blue Hens. 9 seconds left on the penalty. He plays that one to the point, and Joey Engelman wasn't there. His defensemen were in the middle of a change, and that'll be a free clear for the Terps as this penalty's over. Out of the box, it's Craven working with Duchesne. Craven in alone, just wide of the cage. He had Monty beat on the glove side, just couldn't keep it on net.
I thought that went in for a second from our angle. It looked like it did, just wide.
Really poor timing there for Delaware, turning it over just as Caleb Craven stepped out of the box. And that'll end the second period. A late opportunity for the Terps there. They didn't convert, but we're tied up at 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Coach Joe Carter is going to be pleased with how Maryland played. Andy, I'm sure they definitely woke up, didn't they?
Absolutely. Third period of play will begin in about 10 minutes, but Bailey Unchester will do a second intermission interview momentarily, so don't go anywhere.
Hey there, Terps fans. Thanks for sticking around for my mid-game report here in between the second and the third periods. My name is Billy Unchester. I'm here with my good friend Devin Brown. Devin, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks for asking. And we got quite a game here behind us, don't we, eh?
We sure do. Getting a little testy. I love to see it.
Yeah, and Devin, you are a freshman this year, one of our goaltenders. If you can't tell, it's hard to put a face to the guy behind the mask, but pretty good, impressive first few starts you've had. Just what's that like coming in as a freshman here to the ACHA?
It's been so much fun. I think the games have been real competitive. There's a lot of passion in club hockey here. I can't say enough about the older guys, our leadership group, and our coaches welcoming me in, and it's been a super smooth transition. Having a lot of fun with it and loving hanging out with the guys.
Yeah, and you and your co-tandem guy. Shano, as they call him, you guys both freshmen and locking it down pretty well. Patty Adams has the start tonight, but just you and him coming in at the same time and sort of figuring it out together, what does that mean to you?
It's been awesome. It's been great to have another guy who's new, and Patty has been just an absolutely great goalie partner to both of us. He's the consummate professional, and he's welcomed both of us in, showing us the ropes, and he's having a good game tonight, so I love to see that. And Jack's been outstanding in his starts as well, so really fortunate to play alongside of those two.
Yeah, definitely. All of them great guys. Proud to call them my friends, but I know you probably know them a bit better than I do. Is there any fun stories that you can think of just between the three of you guys, if there's anything that stands out?
Maybe not that I can share on air, but there's definitely a couple of them. So.
Yeah, fun guys, and we have a fun team. So, Devin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Guys, we are just about 2 minutes away from puck drop in between the second and the third period here. We are tied 3-3, and if I had to say so myself, it's going to be a pretty crazy third period. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here, Devin, and we will see you in just a few minutes.
Welcome back for this third period of play here on the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined by Owen Korzak and Bailey Unchester. And we have 20 minutes left in regulation for this one. Terps and Blue Hens tied up at 3. A very wild second period. Shorthanded goals for each side, not in the second period, but just in general. A bit of a wacky game here in Laurel. But what else can you expect from the mecca of college sports?
Yeah, the Garden, where the magic happens.
Exactly. Looking for some magic right there. That was Grant Warner. Couldn't get that pass across to Doherty, but Harnon's got it now to the point for Petter. They play catch. Harnon down low for Doherty. Doherty checked into the boards by Josh Flom. Kept in at the point by Petter. Petter sends it low and around, and a blown tire there from Joey Engelman will allow the Terps to maintain possession in neutral. Ice is slippery, folks.
Really? Hey, you learn something new every day with Andy Parr.
Always try. Brian Teskey starting to charge for the Terps. That pass is offline for Doherty, and this will be icing on Maryland. 44 seconds into the third.
Yeah, and Maryland, really, the key to this period is just it sounds a lot easier said than done, but Maryland, they just got to keep possession of the puck. I mean, we saw the first 8 or so minutes of that second period. They had the puck the whole time. They got 2 goals out of it, 1 shorthanded. I mean, second half of that period not necessarily go their way. They gave it the 4-on-4 goal, but I'm sure that the coaching staff is very pleased with their response after an uncharacteristic first period.
Yeah, speaking of, I briefly spoke with the coaches again in the second intermission. They seemed generally happy with how their team responded after a sloppy first period. Got back to just playing the puck, maintaining possession, and hitting hard, the way that Maryland has been able to win their games this season.
Yeah, hitting hard might be an understatement for what's been happening today. A lot of chippiness between these two teams. Ryan Craven, my goodness, Ryan Craven just duked Mielsarik into the board. I'm not sure if I've seen that.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting check there, but Caleb Craven still throwing his weight around even after taking that questionable roughing penalty at the end of period number 2. Aiden Starr with it for the Blue Hens. He'll try and play it again for Pulchipek, but that pass was offline, and Sean Amon will dump it back in. Mielsarik working one-on-one with Pilkington. Pilkington sends him into the boards, and James Romps ends up with the puck. Now it's loose again, and Pulchipek picks it up for Delaware. Pulchipek sends it off the boards, looking for Owensky. Owensky gets tied up with Caleb Craven, and Craven's got the puck. Back for Sean Amon. Amon really slowing things down now for Craven. Craven dangles once, sends it through center, and now Romps has it. Romps back for Craven. Craven on the far circle, sends it in front for Pilkington.
That was a really good pass.
Tip attempt there, saved by Joe Monty. Back in neutral, this is Wallace. Wallace plays it with Dishner. Dishner with a bit of a slow pass there, so Wallace has to go into the boards. And now Starr has it for the Blue Hens. Starr checks Michael Schreibman into the boards right there. Back behind the net, this is Owen Cunningham for the Blue Hens. Leaves it for Brady Morrow. Morrow going to the point, hit there by Andre Serra, and Serra will clear the zone. Downey back for the Blue Hens, trying to get it back up, but Serra's there again. Serra will send it ahead for Haran. Haran can't quite get a stick on it, and this will be icing against the Terps.
And a pretty solid start to this period for both teams. Both have had, I guess Delaware hasn't had any chances. Maryland not really blowing them out of the water like they did to start. I guess I shouldn't say blowing them out of the water. Blowing them off the ice. Blowing them off the ice.
It's like water if you really think about it.
Yeah, I guess frozen water. But yeah, Maryland, they not as strong of a start as their last period, but it's hard to have a stronger start than their last period. They scored 52 seconds in.
Some numbers here. Schreibman with Dishner and Haran. Dishner with a backhand shot, sticked away by Joe Monty. Into the corner. This is Schreibman. Gets it out to the point for Wallace. Wallace with a good counter check there to hold it for a moment, but now it's Owen Cunningham the other way with Anthony Greco. Greco tips it ahead, but Andre Serra's there for the Terps. Greco takes Serra into the boards. Serra and Greco still working one-on-one. Serra ends up winning that battle and plays it off the boards for Haran. Haran chips it into neutral. And Delaware will start another charge. Cunningham dumps it in as the Blue Hens change. Andre Serra behind his own net for Wallace. Wallace lost control of that one for a second, but it's back on the stick of Patrick Harnon. A big clear there. And Michael Schreibman's into the offensive zone offside. This one's whistled. 16:08 to go here in the third period. Schreibman just ahead of that pass.
That's the third time he's been called tonight. I feel like he's the only player who's been called at all, even when Delaware has had some clear offside. not trying to jab at the refs, but Schreibman.
Yeah, there was definitely one on that power play that was a few feet ahead of the play, to say the least, that we saw from up here. Blake Warner into the offensive zone. Loses possession to Joseph Legato, and now the Blue Hens are the other way. This is Justin Fox. Fox with a shot from the far circle. That one buzzes over the blocker of Patty Adams. Eli Petter behind his own net tries to use the boards for Blake Warner, and he will get it ahead for Chase Wilson. Wilson dumps it ahead, and Joey Engelman's back there for Delaware. Engelman off the boards. It's intercepted by Teske. Teske getting some pressure here, sends it in deep, and now it squirts back out to the point for Petter. Petter will ring it around and get it back to himself.
Catch his own pass.
Eli Petter down low for Wilson. Wilson's checked off the puck there. Now this is Andrew Plank,
nice
who
hit.
absorbs a hit from Jack Hudrin. Joey Engelman skates it through neutral for the Blue Hens, and look out here, they could have numbers. Engelman waits, shot, saved by Adams, rebound is in. Justin Fox taps it home. Patty Adams got that original shot from Joey Engelman, but the rebound was sitting on that goal line, and Justin Fox taps it in. 4-3 Delaware.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Maryland with a turnover. Neutral zone. They were able to, maintain possession in their own zone. Start this period, and then Delaware they had looked like maybe a 3-on-1 for a moment there. They were able to find the back of the net, and unfortunate. Adams has had a really solid night. The stat sheet's not going to indicate that, but I mean, the shots or the goals that Delaware is scoring, they're very high danger shots.
Another high danger opportunity there. Came up with that initial save on the Engelman shot, but just couldn't swallow that rebound, and nobody could clear Justin Fox out of the way. Maryland now playing from behind. Needs a hero here in Laurel. Grant Warner with the puck for the Terps. In his own end. Warner will send it ahead for Doherty. Doherty gets a chunk of that one as C.J. Mielceric chases for Delaware. Mielceric for Starr. Starr. That pass is offline, but look out here with a lot of speed. This is Chris Sager. Sager working against the other 28, Colin Doherty. Rakowskis ultimately picks up that puck. Gets it to the point, but only as far as Mielceric, who sends that one wide of Adams. Doherty ahead for Craven. Craven trying to push it into the offensive zone, but C.J. Mielceric has it again for Delaware. Mielceric sends it length of the ice, and now to Sager again. Sager in alone with a shot. Save made by Adams.
My
Rebound,
goodness,
he
another
kept
one.
it out. Brendan Stam jammed that one wide. He had a wide open net. And Adams, without his stick, blockers away another long-range shot from Chris Sager. Harnan now slowing things down for Maryland. What a sequence for Maryland's netminder as Harnan now the other way. One-on-one against Downey. Harnan, he gets slashed there, and the Terps are headed to the power play. Danny Downey takes the stick out of Patrick Harnan's hands. And we'll see if they call it a power play or a penalty shot. It looks like it should just be a standard 2-minute slash.
Maryland looking for their first power play goal of the night. Could not come at a better time than right now. See, they're going to roll out 3 defensemen, or I guess 1 defenseman and 2 utilities.
Danny Downey knew he got beat by Harnan on that one, so he just slashed Harnan's stick out of his hands. And Maryland now with 2 golden minutes to try and tie up this game, but Delaware wins that face-off, and Engelman will use the boards to get it out.
Yeah, and Harnan's got the hottest stick on the ice tonight so far. He's got 2 goals already. Maybe
1
a
even
hat
strength
trick.
and 1 short-handed.
Yeah, he could get the...
Don't say it.
No, actually, yeah, I was going to stop myself before Andy did.
Brian Teske dumps this one in from the blue line right into the glove of Joe Monty, and he will squeeze. Offensive zone draw coming up for the Terps here. Only 21 seconds into this power play. Harnan will work against Olensky at this face-off dot. Olensky wins it for Delaware. Flom trying to get it out. That one bounces by Brian Teske as the Blue Hens clear. Caleb Craven now in his own end, using the boards for Teske. Teske with a little bit of pressure from Olensky. He'll back off. Petter Teskey starting to break out now. This is Harnan in neutral. Back for Teskey, up to Harnan again.
Really neat pass there by Teskey to just send Harnan up the ice.
Travis Duchesne down low, takes Flom off the puck. Eli Petter sends it in deeper. Harnan and Olensky one-on-one on these boards. Puck is caught up in the skates of Olensky, and now it squirts out behind the net. Caleb Craven's there. Craven checked into the boards by Joey Engelman, but he leaves it for Harnan. To the point for Duchesne. Down to Harnan on the circle. Harnan across. Teskey. Shot, score! Brian Teskey! A power play snipe from the circle, and we're tied at 4.
That was magic from Brian Teskey. What a shot, a toe drag. My goodness, in Maryland on the power play, they finally get their first power play goal of the night. This one is the equalizer here with 12:36 left in the period, and Teskey, his third of the season, and it could not have come at a better time. Travis Duchesne kept the puck in the zone, was able to feed the captain. And oh, captain, my captain, Brian Teskey, what a shot.
Yep, a great keep in by Duchesne and a good feed for Teskey. Teskey given just a little bit too much space on that near circle, able to walk in and shoot it right over the glove of Joe Monty and knot this thing up at 4 apiece. Duchesne with a shot there, pad save by Monty. Had to be ready on that one. A little sneak attack there from Travis Duchesne. Owen Cunningham now into the zone for Delaware. Cunningham loses it to Duchesne, but now Greco's got it for the Blue Hens. Big shot block there from Andrew Wallace. Around the boards now, Starr has it. He sends it wide of the cage. Sarah now tries to play it ahead for Duchesne. That pass was offline, and Starr has it for Delaware in neutral. Cunningham will dump for the Blue Hens. Wallace will be there for the Terps. Gets a little bit of pressure there from Greco. On the boards, it's taken by Morrow, who leaves for Greco. Greco getting close to the net, sends that one wide. Romps has it for the Terps now. James Romps skies this one real high, and it avoids the ceiling. That one
through one of
looks like it went through some of the pipes here in the ceiling of Gardens Ice House. Now Caleb Craven in his own end. Craven behind the net, leaves it for Wallace. Wallace for Schreibman. Schreibman on this near board, cutting towards the middle. Schreibman now has a little bit of room in the center. Shot there blocked by Mielceric. Cam Horan can't quite keep it in at the blue line, and the Terps will reset in neutral. Schreibman again, he gets checked off the puck there by Brady Morrow, but Caleb Craven's got it now. Craven working 1-on-4, and he keeps that puck.
What a move.
To the point for Amon. Amon with a shot. That one's blocked down by Winloff. And Delaware will clear. Sean Amon back for the Terps. This is Craven again. Leaves for Dishner. Dishner with a nifty move there. Sends it back for Amon. Amon and Dishy working together right now. A little bit of trickery there from Michael Schreibman. Doesn't go his way, but Maryland still finds it into the offensive zone, and now it's taken away again. This is Joseph Legato for the Blue Hens.
It's a really good shift by Dishner. Probably his best of the night.
Nathaniel Dishner making the most of his lineup opportunity today. But look out here. It's Legato working with Fox and Plank.
What
a big
hit.
Defensive play there. Great hit in neutral, and then a steal from Caleb Craven. And Craven's got the other way. Craven tried to get that one across to Schreibman, but he lost possession of the puck to Winloff. Winloff now for Delaware. On the far side, muffled there by Chase Wilson. In front, this is Jack Hudrin, who's checked there by Andrew Plank. Now down low, a big centering pass there from Legato. Couldn't find the stick of Fox. Fox hit hard there by Blake Warner. And now Chase Wilson's got the puck behind the Maryland net.
Maryland's upping the physicality here in this period. You can tell they're definitely the stronger, more physical team here. And they're able to get the goal on the board, too.
This one will be an icing as it goes wide of Joe Monty. Jack Hudrin trying to beat Winloff to that red line, but he's not able to. 9:25 to go here in the third. 4-4 in the Gardens Ice House. This one will be to the right of Patty Adams. Terps with their fourth line. Delaware counters with their first. Brendan Stam will take this draw. Grant Warner wins it, though, but immediately loses it, and that was a shot from the point there from Josh Flom. Now Hudrin with it again, gets it into neutral. And Delaware's got some possession here. It's Kramer. Kramer now in his own end, getting a little bit of pressure from Grant Warner. Both Warners currently on the ice. Grant Warner trying to send it across to Blake, but that pass is intercepted by Engelman. Engelman now leaves it into the offensive zone. That was a shot there from Chris Sager that buzzed just high. Engelman on the far side, facing some pressure from Blake Warner and Eli Petter. Squirts out to the point. This is Brendan Stam. Stam with a shot. That one's blocked down in front by Grant Warner. Hudrin with it in the corner, loses it to Flom. Teskey with a check there on Brian Kramer. This one now behind the net. It's cleared by Grant Warner. This one's moving slow, so Maryland will be able to change. Stam now for Delaware. Stam on the near side. Waits. Sends it to the point for Flom. Flom across to Starr. Starr on the far circle with a shot. That one goes wide of the net. And it'll go back out into neutral. No ice here.
Yeah, Starr might have shot that too late. That was probably the best one-time opportunity either team had today.
Look out here, Tommy Pilkington with a takeaway. Pilkington with a shot. Save made there by Monty. Back to the point, and this is Petter. Petter on the far side will take a shot. Blocker save for Monty into the corner. Duchesne for Romps. Touch one more in front. Pilkington can't get across the goal line. And Joe Monty dives out of the crease to get his body on top of that one. A big sequence in front of the Delaware net right there.
Yeah, and what set that up was Starr's shot that just completely missed the net on the other end. Like I was saying, I think he had a very, very good one-time opportunity there, and then all the chaos ensued on the other side of the ice.
Face-off here won by the Blue Hens, but Maryland steals possession, and now Mielsarik has it again for Delaware, and he will clear the zone. This is Polchapek. Polchapek skies that one in on Patty Adams. Look out there. An unexpected blocker save, and Jack Rakowskis back for the Terps now. It's taken away by Mielsarik. Sends it deep, but Andre Serra's there for Maryland. Serra up for Romps. Romps back to Duchesne. Duchesne for Romps again. Romps through neutral. Dumps it into the offensive zone. Pilkington has it behind the net. Pilkington to the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis will take the long-range shot from the far side. That one deflects over Joe Monty. And now look out here. Caught in a change. Polchapek had a little bit of space, and they slowed it down. But Olensky now cruising in with a shot. That one goes wide of Patty Adams. Olensky still dangerous. Saved there by Adams. A nice one from number 30 in black. 7 minutes to play here in the third period.
Yeah, and that could be a game saver, really, for the Terps. I mean, Adams, puck went high, was kind of out of position, got right back to the spot, that left end, that left post of the cage in Maryland. Now this game has gotten really, really good really quickly.
It sure has. Now up to 90 viewers on the stream. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in to the Maryland Hockey Network for this late Saturday night matchup.
That was a rare big hit from Schreibman. Schreibman, one of the smaller guys on this team, he just delivered a blow along the boards.
Schreibman spent a lot of time working with the coaching staff after last week's games in North Carolina, wanting to find the best ways to maximize his defensive game. Definitely seen some improvements from number 22 today. He's been very physical every time he's away from the puck. This is Caleb Craven for the Terps. Craven with a little bit of pressure from Cunningham. But Craven will play it ahead. But it only gets as far as Brendan Fleming. Fleming sends it down deep again, and Dishner will reset again for the Terps. Dishner, that pass is offline for Schreibman, and this will turn into icing on Maryland.
That's unfortunate. These skaters are tired. They've been out there a while. They've been very physical too. Schreibman, like we talked about, has delivered a few hits on this shift. I'm sure he's gassed. Craven's been out there a while. And this third line, they've really shocked me tonight. This is a line I thought was going to be a lot more productive offensively tonight. And defensively, they've been, fantastic. They've been delivering blows all night.
Yep, Joey Engelman can't keep that one in at the point, and now Horan working with Schreibman. Both have a little bit of speed. Schreibman trying to get that one to the front. It's poked wide of the net by Joseph Legato playing defensively there. Now Eli Petter with it again after Brian Teskey checks Justin Fox off the puck. But ends up on the stick of Joey Engelman in his own end. Engelman working with Josh Flom. Eli Petter now with it again for the Terps. Petter will use the boards for Warner. Blake Warner gets a little bit of pressure there from Engelman, and Engelman will play it deep again. 5.5 minutes to play here in the third period, still tied 4-4, Terps and Blue Hens. Teskey trying to find Chase Wilson in neutral there. That pass was a little too high. And Josh Flom has it for the Blue Hens. Into the offensive zone. This is Justin Fox working with Andrew Plank. Plank sends it towards the front of the net. Chase Wilson with a big defensive stick there, and now he'll send it the other way. Chase Wilson leaves for Hudrin. Hudrin didn't quite corral that pass, and he'll send it around the boards for Warner. Blake Warner to the middle for Hudrin. That one goes through his stick, and Maryland will reset again in center. Warner delivering a check to Joey Engelman, and now Grant Warner, fresh off the bench. Warner for Hudrin, score! Jack Hudrin with a one-timer off a beautiful pass from Grant Warner. 5-4 Terps.
What a sequence, and Hudrin nets his first goal of the year, a well-deserved one, especially with the way he's played tonight. It all started with the check. Engelman tried to deliver a blow to Blake Warner. Warner absorbed that, and Engelman was the one on the receiving end, really. The puck ended up in the other Warner brother, Grant. And like Andy said, I mean, a fantastic feed directly to Hudrin, empty net, put that one home, and Maryland leads with just 4:30 left in regulation.
Yep, another situation where the Terps were in the middle of the change, so you had both Warner brothers on the ice, and both of them absolutely huge in setting up that goal for Jack Hudrin. First Blake with the big hit to turn over that puck from Joey Engelman, and then Grant with that beautiful behind-the-back pass to Jack Hudrin. Doherty in the offensive zone. Ahead to Warner. Back to Doherty, and that one just squirts off his stick. He was looking for a one-timer there. CJ Mielsarik the other way for the Blue Hens. Mielsarik faces some pressure from Wallace. He'll send it on net where Adams will cover. A little bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing too crazy. 4 minutes left here in the third.
Yeah, if I'm Maryland, I'm putting my fourth and third lines out there for the rest of the night. Letting Teskey, Petter, Craven, and Amon kind of just control this one. And they're gonna roll out their second line, but like I said, the second and third line, they're pretty much interchangeable. Second line has a lot of guys who kill penalties, a lot of size.
Yeah, something that assistant coach Trevor Drake mentioned while we were on the buses from North Carolina is that this forward core, well, it might not have a true first, second, third, or fourth line. They have 4 lines that they are comfortable putting out in any game situation. They're confident in all of them to score and defend.
What a move by Amon there. He is a guy who doesn't normally utilize his handles too much, and he does there, and it was a beautiful move, and he gets a takeaway there.
Yep, Sean Amon keeping it again for James Romps. Romps couldn't pull the trigger on that one, and now Kramer has it for the Blue Hens. He's got a wide open Chris Sager if he decided to pass that puck. Luckily for Maryland, he didn't. But now this will be a trip on Sean Amon, and Maryland's going shorthanded with 3:14 to play here in the third.
Yeah, and that's trying to see which player on Delaware that was.
He took down Brian Kramer.
Yeah, Kramer. He ended up colliding with, I think that was actually Sager, who at the end of that, Sager got a piece of Adams. Craven, not a fan of that, and Amon, who I was just talking about, is such a solid player for this Terps team, is in the box now. And Maryland, their penalty kill has looked very, very solid tonight, and this is going to be the biggest penalty kill of the night.
Yep, they need him to step up one more time, and it looks like Delaware will call a timeout here as this all-important power play likely hinges on a win or a loss for the Blue Hens. Joseph Monty already with his mask off. We'll see if they keep him in for the start of this power play or if Delaware goes extra aggressive and tries to go 6-on-4 right away.
Yeah, Maryland, they've not been great at the face-off dot tonight, so I would not be surprised at all if Monty is on the bench to start this power play. Looks like he is
he's going to stay out.
I'm not sure if I agree with that if I'm Delaware. I mean, obviously, Maryland Hockey Network, I'm happy. Happy Maryland is going to maybe have a little bit more of an advantage than we thought with 3 minutes left. I think that you got to pull the goalie. We'll see what they do here.
Yep, assistant coach John Wheatman talking to all the penalty killers right now. Big special teams opportunity here for the Terps. As Owen mentioned, their penalty kill has looked very solid tonight. They need him to come up big one more time here.
Yeah,
3:14 in the period and 2 minutes on the trip to Sean Amon.
And special teams has been pretty much the storyline of the night. We've had 2 shorthanded goals, a 4-on-4 goal, and then a power play goal, which was the equalizer for Brian Teskey.
Well, Delaware wins this faceoff, and Kramer's got it on the near circle. Down low for Polchapek. To the point for Stam. Stam back to Kramer on the near side. Kramer will send it to the near point for Stam. Stam with some pressure from Doherty. He and Kramer switch places. Kramer now at the point. Stam on the circle. Big shot block there for Brian Teskey. Polchapek behind the Maryland net. Now sent towards the goal. That was Chris Sager. That one's deflected out of play by Grant Warner. 33 seconds gone in this penalty to Sean Amon.
I am shocked that they have not pulled Monty. I mean, that entire like set of play was all in Delaware's possession.
And they still have Monty in there as Delaware wins this draw again. It's Brian Kramer on the near side.
You rarely get 6 on 4 opportunities. I have no idea what they're doing.
Well, that was a good pass there by Chris Sager. Kramer had it on his backhand, though, and couldn't get the shot off. Olensky diving towards the net, sends that one wide. And now it's Sager again. Sager on the far point, sends it to Stam on this near side, but that pass is offline. Teskey's there, but look out. Polchapek with a steal, and he had some space. Back for Kramer. Across. Sager with a shot. That one goes over the blocker of Adams. Kramer at the near point. Sends it ahead.
What a stick play by
Great
Warner.
stick by Grant Warner. And he's got Doherty with him. 2-on-1. Across. Doherty shot. Save made by Monty. A big short-handed stop there for Joseph Monty. And now Delaware's got some speed the other way.
Yeah, biggest part of that play. Maryland gets 2 fresh defensemen out there, Craven and Sarah.
This is Sager now. Sager with a shot. That one hits the outside of the cage.
Thought that went in for a second.
Stam down low, working with Olensky. Olensky facing a lot of pressure from Caleb Craven, but Polchapek has the puck, but it's a hand pass. Olensky tried to settle that down, and instead he throws it to Polchapek, and this one's going to go all the way back.
Yeah, Maryland's going to have an offensive zone face-off on the penalty kill. Only 16 seconds left. Sean Amon is eagerly waiting to get out of the box. And, I mean, I'm going to go back to it. I really don't know what I'm doing if head coach Vince Falkowski, not sure why he didn't pull Sam Monty. I mean,
Yep, down to 90 seconds in the period and 15 seconds on the Sean Amon penalty. Patrick Harnan with a great job tying up that faceoff to kill some time off this clock. Behind the net, it's Engelman.
yeah, wasted opportunity there for Delaware.
Yeah, you have to think as soon as they get through neutral, Monty's going to be on his way to the bench. Amon's out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. And Monty's still in the crease.
He was on his way out. I'm surprised that he hasn't been pulled yet. I mean,
and now Andre
this is
Serra has
just-
possession for the Terps, and Monty will stay in. 1 minute to go here in the third period, and Travis Duchesne steals that puck. Harnan into the offensive zone. Harnan killing time, facing some pressure from Brady Morrow. Engelman steals it for the Blue Hens. And now look out here, Anthony Greco. He got around Amon for a second, but Amon was able to recover. Now at the point, this is Morrow. Loses it to Amon. Monty's still in the goal with 40 seconds to play here in the third.
Right now. What on earth is Delaware doing?
I really don't understand why they never pulled Joe Monty. Now
The
Monty's
players
starting
are
to skate up
asking
here.
for it now.
Yep, now Monty on his way to the bench with only 28 seconds left in the third period. The extra attacker is going to be Brian Kramer. 23 seconds to go. Delaware with a lot of wasted time. Kramer now into the middle of the offensive zone. Leaves it back for Polchapek. That shot is deflected wide of the net by Kramer. Duchesne will use the boards. It's taken away by Olensky. Olensky working against Doherty. Doherty tying it up with Grant Warner. 6 seconds to go. Doherty using the boards. It's at the point. Starr can't handle it. 1-0. Play love story in Laurel. Terps win 5-4.
What a win. This, in my opinion, you can talk about the opening night against Towson. This was the best win in terms of just overcoming adversity. What a night for the Terps. Without Devin Oliver, few, not new faces, but older players making their debuts this season. And Dishner and Adams, both of them played very, very solid. And Maryland, a very, very well-deserved win. A lot of special teams plays that really made the game for Maryland. And we'll be back here tomorrow night against Rider, and hopefully the Terps can ride this momentum into tomorrow night.
Yep. Big win over a rivalry and division opponent for the Terps tonight. Some confusing coaching decisions from the Delaware side at the end of that game. But at the end of the day, it's a 5-4 win for the Terps. Jack Hudrin, ultimately the man with the game-winning goal, getting his lead-taking tally with 4:40 to play in the third period. He played a hell of a game and was rewarded with that wide-open one-timer.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this was a very, very good night for the Terps. I mean, obviously any win is a good win, but when you win in that fashion, you go into the second period trailing, respond right away. Have a really good second period, but still exit going into the third tied, and then in the third, you into the third down. I'm getting it's been a long day.
It's been a long day for you, Owen.
No matter what, Brian Teskey equalizer, Jack Hudron game winner. What a win for the Terps. And their fans, who were probably disappointed at around 6:30 p.m. with how the Maryland football team performed, they are going to leave here, the Gardens Ice House, with a little bit of magic.
Yep. The mecca of college sports providing some magic for Maryland tonight. But as these teams exit the ice, for everyone at Maryland Hockey Network, Bailey Unchester and Owen Korzak, I'm Andy Parr. Good night, Terps fans, and tune in for Rider tomorrow.